because it is like my first time in here, so first off, I'm like super nervous. I don't know why. I feel like it's because I'm not in my element. Like, I typically do a lot of the RWBY stuff on my own, on my side, and then it's like it's out there if people want to watch it and be a part of it. And like another thing too is just being on this reaction video with you guys. There's a lot of people out there that have like this misconception that because I speak very highly of RWBY and I focus more on what I like about it versus like nitpicking or criticizing it, that I am incapable of criticizing it, or I'm incapable of interacting with people who do criticize it. Like, I guess it's going back to the comment that I responded to on the last reaction that you guys did, where someone was like, oh, you know, they appreciate me in my videos, but they don't think I would blend well with you guys because, well, first off, I would never watch a reaction of RWBY with anybody for the first time because I would straight up ruin it for them. Like, I'll be the first one to tell anyone that. I'm like, yeah, I'm not going to do that to you. Like, I'm going to be considerate to other people because I know I can
I've seen most of your reactions.
Yeah, it's like I am completely unrestrained, unapologetic when it comes to the show, and like, I'll have that time by myself and then I'll be a part of it with everybody else. So yeah, I mean, I know that the show isn't perfect, and I know that it's not, what everybody expects or hopes for, and some people watch it regardless, and I'm one of those people too. Like, I know that it's not perfect. I know, and especially for Volume 6, looking at Volume 6, I told a friend of mine, like 4 or 5 episodes in, I was like, honestly, looking at Volume 6 makes me see how much more, especially Volume 5, like, the issues are a lot more present because it's so much of an improvement.
Oh, yeah. Like, between Volume 6 and 5, it's just black and white. Like, they flipped a switch or something.
Yeah. I mean, even between, I want to say, Volume 6 and, say, Volume 2, like previous volumes, I think, are people are finally being willing, I think, to criticize earlier volumes because now they're seeing what I have been pushing for. Volume 6 so far has been the RWBY that I have wanted to say. I've gone on record.
Yeah, I remember you saying that in the first episode.
It has maintained consistency in that regard.
And it's just been moving.
Yeah,
it's been chugging.
Yeah.
It's the RWBY that I've wanted to see. And now that people are like, oh, you're just criticizing the criticize. No, it's because I see a gem in here. I see something that's really fun and worth watching. And I see it dragged down by poor planning and poor writing. And, like, I want to highlight what good there is in there so you can recognize where the bad is and you can cut that away and get to the good. And I think they're finally getting it. Hopefully this is a sign of them finally sitting down and make more second drafts.
Yeah.
Yeah, really.
Yeah. And part of that's lost, too, on people. Because, like, I remember before I actually, like, started talking to you guys, like, I remember somebody met, this was last year, I think, like early last year, so I was in a live stream and someone brought up Fatman, and then after that stream I like went to his videos and I watched his videos, and I was just like, dude, this guy just fucking hates the show. Like what? like is he just like, he's just hating on, like, I obviously went into that. I was like, does he really like? And that's like one of the first things I asked him when I spoke to him on Twitter. I was like, do you like RWBY? Like, that's like I personally just needed to know for myself because it was just so hard to tell because there's just a lot of harshness, behind the commentaries and the critiques and the reviews and stuff like that. But no, like, you guys, like,
yeah,
the big thing is just like it's hard for me to like believe that people out there really think that you guys, like you and I or any of us, can't just get along or just be friends or just enjoy the same thing because of our opinions.
Yeah. Or like a lot of people think that enjoying something and criticizing it are mutually exclusive.
Yeah.
That's the thing that always gets on my nerves.
It baffles me so much because, like, I mean, you can poke holes in the Dark Knight all you want. It's fun to poke holes in the Dark Knight all you want. I love shows, and in the middle of them, I always make witty, sarcastic comments, trying to just completely deadpan the logic in them sometimes. One of my personal favorites is, I'm really enjoying the first season of Arrow. I'm finally starting to get through with my dad, and how many times
Nice.
do they have a party sequence? Like every single episode, they have like a mandatory party sequence, and so I always check that off. I am not shitting you. Every single episode, they have a mandatory party sequence of some sort.
It's very similar. I watched the first 3 seasons of the Flash, and that show also has some like scenes that it's just like I'll go talk to this person. There's always someone going to like clarify, like I'll go talk to him. And that's another reason why I gravitate to like your guys' videos too. Like I'm not a writer, I'm not a critic, I'll never like proclaim myself to be those things, and so a lot of that is lost on me when it comes to people like you guys who understand that field or that idea of like what goes into making a show and creating a story in a universe. So like that's fascinating to me. My friend Anton, the theoretical artist, like
the real reason is they should have questions. There's a lot of questions. We have questions because we have our own ideas of how the world works, but the kids have their ideas of how the world works. They should be asking questions about all this magic that's happening that they, have never seen before. To them, you understand that this is like they're discovering electricity for the first time. That's what this is the equivalent of. The fact that people can turn into birds, that is what that is equivalent of to them. They don't know that shit like that can even happen. It's the discovery of a new principle of physics, okay? And it's very relevant to the scenario that they're in. Yes, they would have questions. And the most annoying thing about this is RWBY actually does have questions. She asks, well, what happened to the relic at Beacon? But she doesn't ask anything else. Oh, okay, she asked if the cane is a relic. Okay, but she doesn't ask anything else. There's literally like a dozen other questions you could ask. Do you want to know the real reason nobody asks those questions? I'll tell you the real reason. Because there is no way that they could answer those questions without giving spoilers. Or rather, Miles and Carrie couldn't figure out a way to answer those questions without giving spoilers. And that just pisses me off. I absolutely hate in fiction when there is information, relevant information right there in the scene that the character should be interested in, but it's glossed over because we cannot give that information away, because the writers do not want to give that information away at this moment.
He made a video after Volume 3 happened, because he was like super affected by the death of Pyrrha, and he made like 2 videos talking about it, and he's the same way. He speaks from like an idea of story writing and writing in general. And I was like, I don't know like any of that stuff, so like it's one, it's informative, and B, it's like this part, like it's just me being introduced to something that I'm not really informed on, and it's just fascinating to kind of like see that perspective that I don't have.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I said, and that's the reason I'm very appreciative to have you here, is that like we like to criticize and stuff, but you might see positives that we don't. So that's the beauty of being a diehard fan, is that sometimes you can see value in things that other people don't, and if you're friends enough with them, if you're in the right mindset, you can pull them into seeing it that way.
Yeah.
And from there, they can reformulate it and spread that joy as well in their own way. They can figure out how to eloquate it to someone else and keep it going.
Yeah.
Watching your reaction for The More the Merrier, where Weiss gets impaled at the end.
Oh my god.
That was just like a transcendent experience for me. Because when I watch it, I'm just like, oh, okay, cliffhanger. But like watching your reaction to it, and it was so real for you.
I literally thought, I was like, they're probably crazy enough to kill her. Like, I had people in my comments like, it's the W in RWBY, she's not gonna die. And I'm like, look, that's not where my head is at the moment. Like, it's in the there and then. And like it's in the here and now. It's like I'm not thinking about next week. I'm not thinking about how she how they gonna fix this up. It's like it's a very real thing.
I think you were also the one that pointed out that in the Volume 5 logo they did a really cute thing where they had the glass shatter effect on the W but nowhere else.
Yeah, that was in my Easter egg video. Verve did an advertisement for the show, and it just casually just had a slash going right through the W, and I was like, those motherfuckers. Like,
all right. Well, I think we have taken up a lot of time. That's like what? 15 minutes. I think we should probably get to the episode.
Yeah.